got caught up in the ropes, and spear to Punk!
And stunned, insiders furious, and one of WWE's most dominant families teetering on the edge of collapse, own health, but the kind of betrayal that cuts deeper than any steel chair ever could. And the man behind it all? His own cousin, Jacob Fatu. Roman's breaking point. For years, Roman Reigns has carried WWE on his back. He's been the company's anchor through global uncertainty, creative transitions, and constant public scrutiny. But even the strongest pillars crack under too much weight. Officially, WWE described Roman's recent hospitalization as exhaustion and dehydration. But those close to the situation whisper a more painful truth, that Roman's mind and body have finally buckled under the pressure. Panic attacks, sleepless nights, and anxiety had been haunting him for months. Yet he kept showing up, smiling for cameras and delivering in-ring performances that masked the storm brewing inside. The late-night visit. At 2:47 a.m., Jacob Fatu was spotted entering Mercy General Hospital in Tampa. No entourage, no camera crew, just a man walking with purpose down a sterile hallway toward his cousin's room. To outsiders, it might have seemed like an act of love, a family member checking on another in a time of weakness. But what unfolded behind those doors would shatter that illusion completely. Nurses recall voices rising, tension building, and the sound of movement, a confrontation, not a comfort. The atmosphere in that room wasn't one of compassion, it was one of conflict. A family divided. Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu share more than blood. They share a legacy, the proud Samoan wrestling dynasty that produced legends like the Usos, Rikishi, and the Wild Samoans. For decades, that family name has been built on loyalty, respect, and unity, but somewhere along the way, ambition began to outweigh tradition. Insiders suggest that Jacob's visit wasn't a heartfelt check-in, it was a mission. He came with an ultimatum that no one expected, and no one in Roman's position should ever have had to hear. The ultimatum. According to those familiar with the situation, Jacob told Roman to step aside as leader of the Bloodline or risk seeing his personal struggles made public. The threat wasn't about competition, it was about control. Roman, still recovering physically and emotionally, was blindsided. The man he had trusted most, the cousin he brought into WWE and helped to elevate, had turned his back on him. It wasn't just betrayal, it was a calculated power move. The message was clear. The era of Roman Reigns as head of the table was over. The fallout inside WWE. If that weren't enough, whispers from inside WWE's creative meetings suggest that Jacob had already been discussing ideas that pushed Roman out of the spotlight. Pitch documents circulating backstage reportedly included storylines that would phase out Roman, painting his absence as a downfall, even suggesting fabricated narratives about personal instability. While creative pitches often blur fiction and reality, the timing of these discussions paired with a hospital visit paints a deeply troubling picture. Crossing the line. What makes this situation even more painful is the alleged existence of a recording, audio of that hospital confrontation taken without Roman's consent. If true, it represents a moral line crossed, privacy invaded, trust obliterated. Imagine being at your lowest point, physically and mentally drained, only to discover that the person you trusted most was documenting your pain. That's not rivalry, that's exploitation. And for many fans, it's unforgivable. The fans respond. The WWE Universe has always been fiercely loyal to Roman Reigns. Whether they cheered him or booed him, they respected his consistency, his charisma, his heart. And when news broke of this betrayal, social media erupted. Hashtags supporting Roman trended within hours. Fans shared clips of his greatest moments, posting messages of strength and solidarity. In an industry often built on scripted conflict, this outpouring of genuine emotion showed how deeply Roman's story resonates with people beyond the ring. The legacy on the line. For Jacob Fatu, the fallout is already immense. Within the Samoan wrestling community, where loyalty and respect are sacred, his alleged actions have been met with outrage. To many, it's not just a betrayal of Roman, It's a betrayal of the very culture that defines their family's legacy. The Samoan tradition values unity above all else. What Jacob has reportedly done represents the opposite: division, ambition, and a disregard for brotherhood. The emotional toll. Roman's battle now isn't just physical recovery, it's emotional survival. He's fighting anxiety, exhaustion, and the heartbreak of realizing that his family isn't as united as it once was. The man who preached strength through unity now finds himself surrounded by uncertainty, and yet those who know Roman say this pain might also reignite his purpose. They believe he'll rise again, not as the untouchable tribal chief, but as something far more powerful, a man who's been broken and rebuilt by truth. The state of the bloodline. As of now, the bloodline's future is in question, with tensions mounting between Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, and the rest of the family. The faction that once ruled WWE may be heading toward implosion. The power struggle that started as creative tension has become deeply personal. Every member is being forced to choose sides, and the consequences could define WWE's next era. The human cost of greatness. Behind every championship belt, every grand entrance, and every storyline twist lies a human being, one who bleeds, breaks, and feels. Roman Reigns' current struggle is a sobering reminder that fame and success do not shield anyone from pain, they amplify it. The pressure to be perfect, to stay strong, can become unbearable, and when the people closest to you turn that pain into opportunity, it leaves scars no match can ever heal. The road to WrestlePalooza. With WrestlePalooza 2025 looming, the question remains, can Roman recover, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, in time to reclaim his throne? Or will this betrayal become the chapter that defines his downfall? What once looked like a simple family power struggle has evolved into something larger, a reflection of how the business of wrestling can devour the very people who give it life. Conclusion. Roman Reigns built an empire on dominance, unity, and loyalty, but now those same foundations are cracking under the weight of greed, politics, and personal betrayal. Jacob Fatu's alleged actions have shaken not only a family but an entire industry, and while Roman lies in recovery, the world waits, not just to see if he returns, but to see what kind of man he'll be when he does. Because when the strongest fall, they don't just rise again, they evolve. And if there's one thing Roman Reigns has always done better than anyone else, it's adapt, endure, and come back stronger. The world of wrestling may thrive on drama, but this time the pain is real. The bloodline is fractured, the fans are divided, and one man's resilience will soon be tested in ways no championship ever could.